Well, hello everyone. Hello everyone. I hope everyone is well. Today, the topic on hand is how to live a refined and a luxurious life. And I've got 5 ideas for you, 5 of my tips, my strategies, the things that I implement and put into my daily life that allows me, in my humble opinion, to lead a very luxurious and refined life. And I must preface this, and I must really stress, this is not about buying things. And this is not about having the latest Gucci handbag or having Waterford Crystal or driving a Jaguar or a Maserati. It's got nothing to do with that. Here are several ideas on how I live my life, a very luxurious way and refined way, and my hope is to just give you some ideas, or at least something to pause upon, to think that leading a life this way with less stress and overwhelm because the outside stuff doesn't really matter is something that you might at least try and implement into your life, or try it. Even just one of these tips, that would be great. It would make me feel mission accomplished. So I do have a list, and I hope you're enjoying the view. I've turned my chair around so that you also could see what I see. Now, the interesting thing is that could change on a dime. All of a sudden, the fog could come in and you can't see the other side. But let's take advantage of it while we can, and let's roll onto my 5 tips on how to live a luxurious and a refined life, as seen through the eyes of Carolyn Chebaro. But before I start, my name, if you've never been here, my name is Carolyn Chebaro, and I left the United States. The long and the short of it, I'll put a link over here, and I am currently living in Northern Ireland. I just felt I needed a change, and that's what I did. And if you are coming back, welcome. This is a virtual hug. Welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here. And let's get into it. Let's roll. So the first thing, how I have learned to live a refined and luxurious life is not to be reactive. In so many ways, throughout the course of our days, we are presented with what we see as obstacles and challenges. And our human nature is to react, to put the hands up, so to speak, and get all frustrated and stressed. And that is something that doesn't help anyone. And so I have learned, and I would ask you to when you are presented with something that throws you back, rather than be reactive, just pause. Just stop. And really, really take a deep breath in and realize that the reaction is not going to do you any good. It's just going to exacerbate the situation. So if you pause, stop, gather yourself, and really be quiet, but also think of what exactly you've been faced with. And you will find that your mind will go around with what has been in front of you. And if you find, and I know if I find that after I pause, I'm still pretty aggravated, and it can go on for hours. For me, because I've practiced this, I can normally get past something in a couple of hours. But even if it took longer for me, I know now not to react. Not to, for example, if someone says something to me or does something that I don't feel is appropriate, I have learned, and I ask you just to imagine it, just to pause. It is not actually it is not being not assertive or aggressive. It's being, in my eyes, it's being very, very refined and leading a luxurious life. I myself will not allow anyone, no one has the right to put me in a bad frame of mind. And the only person who does that is me. And the same thing for you. Nobody has the right to take away your joy and happiness, because that is one thing that we can control, because it has to do with here, and it has to do with your heart and how you approach something. So, first tip is not to be reactive. Very, very important. And the second tip I would like to present to you on how to live a refined and luxurious life is to cultivate good tastes and manners. And you and I know the manners thing in this day and age is something that society, no matter where you are, has lost. But it doesn't mean we can't live that way ourselves. For example, one thing, riding on a bus. An elderly person comes in, or a woman who's pregnant. Sadly, but most of the time, if there's a gentleman in the chair, in a seat sitting next to that could get up, quite often, sadly, they don't. Now, that's not to say they wouldn't, but there's the manners. And the manners is, call me old-fashioned, is letting a woman go through the door first. And also a part of this whole tip of cultivating, and also part of this whole concept of cultivating good tastes and manners, in the taste portion, it's just understanding that more is not better. Quality is better. And in good tastes, when you spend more, for example, on something, you will find that the quality is better. Good tastes also applies to what you feed your brain with. In this day and age, there is so much violence, for example, online and on the television. And that doesn't cultivate good tastes. It does actually quite the opposite, because anything will do. And sadly, again, that's leading us, or has led us, to a lifestyle where we don't have good taste. We don't have good manners. We forget what it's like to be quiet. We forget what it's like to sit down at the table with your family. Good taste, good manners. And so that's another thing that I have implemented into my life so that I can lead a refined and luxurious life. It's not, I can't emphasize this enough, it is not about spending money. Money's got nothing to do with it. And number 3 on my list of how to lead luxurious and refined life is finding the joy and the grace in small things, in very, very small things. For example, if you take a walk outside, find the joy in that walk. Find the joy in that blue sky. Find the joy in such small things. I always have explained to my clients, when you're walking, have a look up at the trees. There's joy in that. It slows you down. And to lead a refined and luxurious life is slowing the pace down and really, really appreciating all that you have around you. And it doesn't mean, it is not material things. It is taking the time to really, really feel life, so to speak. Another system, maybe it's not a system, that I have implemented into my life is to slow down. To slow down all the rushing back and forth and trying to get a lot of things done. most of which is nonsense. So here's the story. It's from a long time ago, but as I was taking my notes here, I thought, should I or shouldn't I tell this story? But I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to do it. Years ago, when I was just a small sprout, I remember getting my first job it was as a merchandiser for a department store and in the state of New Jersey. And I used to travel very, very early in the morning to get to that job because I lived in Pennsylvania. So I literally had to drive down the mountain and park my car in the parking lot with this department store. It was Bamberger's. So that, if you're from that side of the water, you'll know how old that is, or how long ago that was, Bamberger's. And I think I probably woke up at 4:30, 5 o'clock to start work at 9 o'clock. Totally ridiculous. Anyway, so this one particular morning, I woke up, threw on my clothing, and did the drive down the mountains. And this was in the Pocono Mountains, so it's not straight down. It's windy and windy and windy. And I eventually arrived at the shopping mall, but the shopping mall wasn't open yet. It was just open for the employees. And as I'm cruising into the staff door at Bamberger's, all of a sudden, I could feel something moving. And lo and behold, what happened? What came down were my grandmother's underpants. I just remember thinking, it got sort of cool and airy down around that area. And I thought, what is going on? And all of a sudden they came down. Because I had rushed, not taking any time to see that I was wearing the right undergarments. And I remember looking down at my shoes with these huge underpants at my feet. I remember stepping out of them, lifting them up and walking. But the whole purpose of me telling you that story is I was just rushing. I hadn't learned my lesson because there was nothing luxurious or refined about my underpants, or as you call it here, knickers, falling to the ground. And that story, when I reflect back, was probably the start, because it was my start of working that led me down a path of work, and just rush. And you've probably, maybe you've not at that extreme, but you probably have lots of stories like that of what happens when you don't care and you rush and you're running from pillar to post. So my advice to you there is don't do that. If you can in any way eliminate the tasks that they're not necessary, and if you can use your time wisely and then use that time in a luxurious way by taking your time, then you'll see life in a different way and you will live a refined and luxurious life. And the next thing is, it's so important to live this type of life and align yourself with people that have the same foundations and the same understandings and lead their life that way, because like attracts like. And you know, sometimes when you meet someone, and they might be the nicest of human beings, but there's something that doesn't jive with you. You just don't feel akin with them. So what you want to do is to align yourself with people that have the same mindset and those that lift you up and make you feel good. The only person who's going to make you feel good is you, but you want some encouragement along the way. And they will help you to lead your refined and luxurious life. Like attracts like, happens all the time. Actually, I have another one. Actually, two more. I do have another one. It's a bonus. I should have said that in the beginning. Actually, I might just cut that in, but I do have a bonus. The next tip I can give you, or the idea, the concept of living a luxurious and refined life, is to take care of yourself. And my mantra is, I've been given this. I talk about this all the time. I've been given this body. I've been given this life. It's my responsibility to take care of it. And so I have to make sure, it's my duty to make sure what goes in this mouth and down into my stomach and nourishes my body and doesn't take away from what I've been given. Now, does that not mean that I won't sneak a piece of chocolate into my bag? No. I will treat myself, but I have learned that eating a bag of potato crisps or potato chips doesn't really do the body good, or drinking soda does not do the body good. So eating the right food, and then another aspect of living a refined and elegant life is to exercise, which reverts back to what I've just said. We've been given this body and this life, and I have always believed it's my obligation to whom I believe in and whomever you believe in or don't believe in. But you got to keep your body fit. You've got to keep moving, and especially as one matures, I hate that word, but as one goes on in life, you must keep everything moving, and you must exercise. Small things, big things, very, very important. So, now, my bonus one, to lead a luxurious and a refined life. You gotta wear lipstick. Whatever color it is, you gotta wear lipstick. And there's a method in my madness for that when I say that, and it's not being superficial. Well, maybe it is. You know what? Live life on the edge. But by wearing lipstick, or maybe your thing is blush, or maybe your thing is mascara, whatever. But for me, wearing lipstick is part of my refined and luxurious life. It just lifts me up. And you know what? Well, I'm hoping you understand that, you get that. It just feels like I am put together. So a dab of lipstick, maybe not red. I know, I get it. It's intense. But lipstick. Lead a luxurious and refined life every day by wearing lipstick. Lipstick, lip balm, whatever it is. But take the care to look after your lips. That's it. Have you enjoyed this? I have so many more ideas and strategies and tips and methods of which I implement in leading a refined and luxurious life. If you would like to know more of them, let me know below, and I can put those on a video for you someday, soon. And that is it. So I'm going to see this. Isn't that nice? This morning, you couldn't see, as I said, across the lock, and the rain came in, and voila, it's glorious. I would love your comments below. I would love your thoughts and your feedback. Do you implement any of these ideas and lead your own luxurious and refined life? I would love to know. Please give me your ideas and your tips, because I'm always open to tweaking and making adjustments and adding things into my life. And you'll also help us here on the community. That is it for today. I wish everyone a good day. Stay well, stay safe. Toodles.